And hello, curling fans. Welcome to the final of the Canadian Pride Curling Championships, coming at you from the Royal Canadian Curling Club in Toronto. This is without a doubt the most important curling championship that will be decided today. Without a doubt, especially starting at 6 o'clock. My name's Brian Chick. I'm here with Stuart Leslie, and we've got a banger lined up for you here. Out of Toronto, the Royal Canadian Curling Club's own Bill Francis taking on Vancouver.
Do they know that?
And skipped by Michael Hiram. Hiram.
I forgot to close I didn't have my book open.
Do you want me to do
We're already in shambles here,
Yeah,
and we're not
we're
even
off
two
the
rocks
rails.
into this.
I only wrote my script for the first two sentences.
We're in for a good final, though. We saw a great couple of semifinals here earlier today. We saw, of course, Toronto 1 face off against Regina 1, and the great game that we were able to commentate and cover
Team
for that
Francis
one.
came back from behind, took three in the 7th, and stole the 8th end to win. That was absolutely a thriller start to finish. The other affair, Vancouver over Toronto 2, was a little more one-sided, but still a really exciting game. A lot of really great shots made.
That it was. And then we have some great games to finish off our weekend here. Quite a few out on the ice today, across from, sheet A to F?
Yeah,
Got
all
games.
6 of them. Good counting.
On our feature sheet, we get kicked off with some guards up. They're going right at it in the first end. So both teams eager to get things underway.
Yeah. We had the first rock into the 4-foot. Toronto opts to throw the corner guard with the hammer. The center guard not quite covering that 4-foot stone, and thus you see Toronto take a crack at it, but not a made shot, but not the worst result either.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when those center line guards aren't on the center line, then it does allow, of course, you can actually move them off the center line, right? Because we have the no-tick rule in effect for these games.
As long as that rock stays in play, you can move it around, and you see the shooter that Ian Casper threw stays in play. So now Vancouver taking a crack at it, trying to sit 2.
Now, we've seen in the games that we've covered and throughout the weekend, this opening end and the first couple ends can be a little bit fresh, but maybe got a little bit up on that ridge there or a little bit outside, but it's unfortunately...
I know if it's my outturn, I always blame the ridge.
Yes.
Because it could have nothing to do with how I threw it.
It's not the thrower, it's the ice, right? Always.
Every time. Yeah, just got a little wide there, and you're right. That way extreme right edge might be a little bit straighter, but we just saw the flash there. So a chance for Toronto right out of the gates to hit and sit 2, maybe spread the house and get that junior deuce in action.
Yeah, Stephen Courteau, a little shaky coming out of the hack there.
We've all been there.
No, if I'm not shaking coming out of the hack, then I don't believe I actually slid out. Going to make the nose hit, though, and Vancouver is now going to try and cluster them together.
Yeah, you never really want to start taking advantage of the opponent's corner guard when you don't have hammer, but kind of the best option at this point for the team from Vancouver. This is Adam Tummelson. And he'll make the hit. Will he stick around? Gets the roll.
Oh, there you go. Makes the roll over.
And puts it in a pretty good spot over there.
Yeah. Important that they clustered those two together now. That's gonna make Toronto's job here much more difficult.
We've got our gold medal game going on here on sheet C. The bronze medal for the Pride Championships will be decided on D. And the other 4 sheets are the event championships for the Royals Do It on the Ice Bonspiel, which featured 48 teams, and we're down to the last handful.
Yeah, Brian, how do you do the math on this to get all these games in 4 days? I'm not a mathematician.
I have been a draw master, but I don't think I've ever had to deal with 64 teams on one particular weekend. So the fact that this championship is getting done, well, 2 championships are getting done over the course of these 5 days is pretty impressive.
Absolutely. We see some exchanges of hits. It's probably a decent opportunity to tell everybody how these 2 teams got here. So both of these teams came out of the B qualifiers. They actually played each other on the A side, where Toronto 1 defeated Vancouver in the A event semifinal. But since that loss, Brian, Vancouver has won 6 in a row to get to this point. So they are, I think that's the definition of rolling.
Yeah, and all you want at this point of the weekend is a chance to play the game, and right now these 2 on sheet C are the only ones with that chance. Doesn't matter how you got there, it's matter that you got there.
Exactly. Both teams had some great games along the way. We mentioned the semifinals that we saw earlier. Of course, both of these teams had to go through as B qualifiers. They had to go through an additional playoff game before playing the semis this morning. Of course, they won those games. So both of these teams have played plenty of games over the past 4 days, and a nice hit and roll there by Jeff Junk to get it. I would say that's a good half buried behind there, forcing Vancouver into the run back. It looks like here.
They managed that one nicely. Just came up enough to get a little roll. Would have loved another couple inches, but honestly, that's pretty good where it is.
Everybody would love another couple inches, right, Brian?
I've got to stop setting you up for these.
just lobbing them up for me. The vice for this Vancouver team is Stephen Bailey. And they're looking to make this finesse shot
Trying
here.
to carve it over, but I don't know that they're going to get a lot of this. And just a little nudge, not enough to remove it. So an opportunity here for Toronto to sink a second one somewhere.
But does enough to at least move it into the open. If there is a silver lining, that would be the silver lining. You never want to miss that one. Then that.
This is one where I would rather just the pro side misses, hit the guard, get the guard out of the way, and then there's nowhere to hide.
Yep.
All that being said, if Jeff Junk makes an okay draw here, there still might be a chance to hit and roll behind and be double buried.
Yes. You may notice on the back of Jeff's jersey is not the last name Junk, but rather Sweeting. There's a story behind that, right, Brian?
Yeah. I don't know how true it is everywhere, but a lot of the curlers in the Toronto Pride Leagues have adopted alter egos from their curling heroes. So Val, throwing the rock here, has earned his nickname from the great Val Sweeting. And this goes back decades, as long as I've curled here, which is now 25 plus years. Before that, it was Sandra Schmerler and went back that far even.
Speaking of going back far, that Red Rock went deep in the house.
Nice segue. Well done.
And something that we've been monitoring, over the course of today, and we saw earlier was just the speed of the ice. That was a 13-2 from hog to hog. So the ice is a little bit slow right now to start, but based on what we've seen throughout the weekend, I think it's safe to say that is going to get quick in a hurry, and it's going to be really important for the teams to make those adjustments over the course of the game to stay on top of those changes.
The important thing is that Red did hang around at the back of the house. It is a counter, so Michael Hiram, we got to figure out how to say that.
Yeah, we're going to have to just pick one and roll with it, right?
He's looking for the double here, trying to get thick halves, run it right back, and just misses.
Just missed it.
So now Bill Francis will have an opportunity to sit two and try to arrange his two reds in a space where there is no double takeout.
Now, Brian, are you in this situation, you trying to go hard for the roll behind your corner, or are you trying to roll away from that corner and try and leave some separation between these?
I would be rolling away to the left as we're looking at it from the far end. The only way that Vancouver gets out of this end is if Toronto hits and rolls under, and then they make a good freeze right behind that guard. So by rolling away, you eliminate that possibility. You got a really good chance to get your two.
So we'll see what Bill Francis does on this one. Looks like a nice control weight here.
Sweepers on it early, though. That's not ideal. Oh, it'll be fine. Even a nose is okay. Then now they're going for the roll under. That's not a bad spot. You'll probably see Mike take on the double again.
I believe that's a reasonable assumption, and confirmed by the broom placement. It's like you know what you're talking about.
I've watched a game or two.
Michael Hiram, is that what we're rolling with?
I'm going to Hiram.
Okay, we're gonna go with Hiram.
Hard eye.
If we're incorrect in that, then please let us know in the chat.
Anybody up?
Michael Hiram throwing the double with his last here in the first end.
This one's already tight. He's not making the double.
Oh,
he's
I
close.
would
Maybe.
say
I spoke too soon.
Oh,
Spoke too
yeah.
soon.
After that compliment that I gave you, that you really know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what the.
You
Yeah.
just wanted to throw that out the window.
Honestly, I thought that was tight. I thought he was going to nose it, and they just hung on wide enough. And actually,
Did a good job of holding it.
yep.
So we have a one-way ticket to a blank end in the first tier of the Canadian Pride Curling Championships.
And not even Bill Francis can screw this up.
We better hope not. Throwing good weight here.
And that will sail through a blank on the board. We will be back after a very quick break with the second end right here from Toronto.
We're back for the second end here. The Canadian Pride Curling Championship final between Toronto 1 and Vancouver. The opening rock from Vancouver lead, Henrik Gagnon slips into the rings, actually intentionally, I believe, goes top four, and now the Toronto team, skipped by Bill Francis, is opting to hit it. Laney Peters making the hit and the roll to the wing. And are we going to see a second blank end in a row? That may be shaping up to be the case, which is probably trouble for us, Brian, because that means we're going to be talking less about the curling that's going on, and we'll probably go off on some side quest.
Well, let's talk about side quests for now. We've got 4 other championships going on 4 other sheets from the recreational side or the less competitive side. There's still a lot of really good teams in that other event.
Absolutely.
On A, we've got the F final between Faubert and Louis. On B, the D final between the Ice Creamers, some of the best jackets in the competition,
They're not making me as hungry right now.
against 3DG. I'm afraid to ask what that stands for.
And then we have on the other end of the ice, over on sheet E, we have Team Champ against Team Steel Magnolias in the A final. So
Team Champ, a bunch of Bobos, everybody knows that, and
Bobos and Bozos, tomato. And then over on sheet F, we do have Field versus Nagel, and that is the G event final. Yes, you heard that right, the G event final. That's what happens when you have 48 teams. There's a lot of events that are here. There's a ton of curling that's going on.
yeah, between the 48 in the Do It on the Ice and 16 more, 64 teams trying to get through a weekend's worth of championship. That is a ton of curling. An absolute props to the draw masters, the organizers, the club, the ice makers for keeping this thing even relatively on schedule, because that is just begging for disaster.
There were bartenders here doing 12-hour shifts yesterday.
They're the real heroes.
Yeah, they are the absolute real heroes. You hear that, Emily and Jose that are here now? You guys are the heroes. And Georgia earlier. So we still continue to see the hits exchanged here on our feature sheet of sheet C.
That looks like it's hanging on the back, maybe.
I believe so.
I think so too. So now, your possibility that blank end becomes less likely.
Are they throwing up a guard here? Is that what I just saw?
I think they're just drawn to that side of the house.
Okay.
They're almost automatically forced at this point, so
Yep.
they're just looking to get another one in there, maybe try to generate a cheap deuce, but this one looks a little spicy.
A little spicy. Which we were criticized in our earlier game for not being spicy enough.
Wow, that one hangs on, and it actually might be shot, so you are going to draw some attention to it.
Vancouver going to hit this out with second Adam Tomilson? Oh my goodness. Give me something to read and it's not possible.
So if you sound it out, the letters make words.
Reading is hard, folks, okay?
This one a little on the wide side hanging. Get a good chunk of that red and nudge the second yellow. I don't think it's counting anymore, but it is almost frozen, certainly overlapped.
That it is.
So now Bill Francis asking Stephen Courteau, whose alter ego is Jill Officer. Jilly looking for a nose hit, maybe a little double here.
Little double action. We saw that maybe running a little bit straight out here in that first end. Maybe a little bit of a wide slide. We'll never know. But this one looking pretty close, off and on, is usually a good indication.
Yeah, yes, no is usually pretty good. Now you do want to spill that out, but to make sure you take one at the end of the end.
It seemed like they threw some softer weight there, maybe to try and keep it around. So
if you let that curl a little bit more and your shooter rolls with the second yellow, that's not a bad alternative, but the way they called it, they maybe got caught in between.
Oh, that not moving that yellow out could be, oh no, it's not going to prove to be a costly mistake. I thought there was a chance they might roll out there, but they did not. They stuck around. Yellow, Vancouver is sitting 3.
Here is Jeff Junk, aka Val. Looking for a little hit and roll. Just try to get one in front of that yellow backing.
And as
This one needs to curl. Laney Peters, aka Ian Casper, trying to turn it over, but they make the double. So it's a little bit better than it was. But they really would have liked to stick around there.
if you're not going to stick around, though, at least make the double, and then maybe you can catch a break at some point, right? As we wait for Vancouver Vice Stephen Bailey to make this shot, we do have some other score updates from across the sheet. On sheet B, which is your D event final, the 3DG team took an opening 3 points in the first over the Ice Creamers and lead by a score of 3-0. On sheet D, it is Devin Martin and his Toronto 2 team that took one in the opening end to get out to a 1-0 lead. On the Regina team, on sheet E, it was the Steel Magnolias taking 2 on the Champ team, and that is, of course, the A event final. And then over on sheet F, it was a score of 2 for Team Nagel in the G event final. Bill Francis is now calling upon Vice Jeff to make the hit and roll in as much as possible.
Little extra weight here. This one's tracking wide. They're going to make the hit, but they will just hang on.
Ooh. This is going to be a tricky little hit that they leave behind now.
Yeah, this may be the get out of jail card. If they do manage to roll out, then the blank would be back in play. It's also, for all you kids listening at home, I apologize first and foremost, but secondly, hitting the outside one is a better option there because it is harder to put a rock in. If you hit the middle one and roll out, it's so easy to split the house and your force is still on. But by hitting the outside one now, leaving that yellow, the next yellow, in a spot where there is no double becomes that much more difficult.
That's Coach Brian right there.
I know a thing or two about a thing or two.
Thing or two about a thing or two. Skip Michael, what did we say? Hiram.
We're going with Hiram.
Hiram. And this might be the break
Is he
that we
getting
were
any
just
of it?
talking about. No.
Oh, just maybe started that one a hair now.
Some fresh pebble out there, all of the above.
Opportunity for Toronto 1. Hit and stick on the nose is pretty good. You don't even have to worry about a roll here. Just keep your rock in play.
Absolutely. Skip Bill Francis. This looks to be about ice for a nice control weight hit.
Jeff could move his self. That would be great.
No, I saw it. You got to trust me on this one, Brian.
Looking for a nice control, maybe 10, 10 and a half.
That's kind of the sweet spot for Bill. Bill likes to throw that weight.
This one looks just fine for me.
An 11 on the stopwatch, so maybe a little bit lighter than they wanted to.
Right on the nose, though. That's perfect. There is no double.
And that's, like we're going to probably talk about over the course of this game, throwing the right weight and not overthrowing these it's easy to overthrow these rocks in a big game. You know, a game that these guys have worked their entire season towards, right? And
So interesting call here. Like a lot of people would put the broom on the rock in the middle of the 4 foot, right on the button, and just whip one up, make it go away, concede your 2. But Mike, having just missed this shot, I think wants to understand what this spot in the ice is doing.
Yep.
So he says, no, I want the same one again, and I want to make it this time. So when he goes, you know, a few ends from now, he might have to throw it again.
Thanks to Jiggity Jeff for confirming that it is Hiram for us.
He just spelled it out. We're just reading the same word. But
I just wanted
also,
to say Jiggity Jeff on
I
the
know.
air.
Thanks to Jiggity Jeff for having a Jiggity Jeff nickname. And there it is, right on the nose. But I think, like I said, Mike Hiram wanted to know what that spot was going to do and know how to throw it in case it comes up again. He's basically already conceding his deuce.
Yep. And, you know, maybe wants to get that little bit of confidence back in him, you know, throw a good one there. It didn't look like he was happy with how he threw the first one.
So with the last rock in the second and one shot already in hand, Billy Franchise out of the Royal Canadian Curling Club needs to hit better than full 8 foot for a second point and put the score on the board.
I think at this point, across the entire sheet, we've seen it broken in pretty well. The sweepers are going, but they don't look overly panicked.
No, you're right. This first 2 ends have been played up both sides of the ice, and Sweepers just walking this one in.
A nice 15-7 hog to hog.
Wow, that's
right
nice, nice and quick.
Oh my goodness!
Right to
on,
the pin.
Right on the pin.
2 points on the board for Toronto's team. Francis, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the third end right after this.
Might be the quickest commercial break of all time that we had there, Brian. We didn't even get a full commercial in.
No, they're not waiting for us, apparently. They don't seem to care about New Holland tractors or...
BKT tires,
no.
Montanas. Delaney Peters here with the opening rock here in the third end, and the sweepers are right off of this. Oh, they're coming back. Jeff's lurking.
What's funny is that I knew these guys as Laney and Val and Jill, you know, as long as I've known them, basically. But through my work, I actually know the real Laney and the real Val and the real Jill. And I have to explain to them sometimes, like, oh, I have a friend named Laney. And
And you're not them?
it gets awkward. I show them pictures of what the other Laney looks like, and they get very confused.
The lead for Vancouver, Enric Gagnon. I think that's close.
That's close enough.
I think I got it.
First shot by Laney slides a little bit deep, and I'm actually a little surprised that it wasn't a hit coming from the Vancouver team. But just right back, their corner guard slides into the house, and that is not ideal. If you're going to take advantage of a miss, you don't want to give a miss right back.
That is absolutely right. I have a tendency to miss after getting a miss, so I need to take a page out of your learnings. You're going to teach me a thing or two here today,
That
Brian.
is one of my absolute pet peeves as a coach. If they miss, if they give you a present, don't give it back.
Make after miss percentage is usually a pretty good indicator of what the scoreboard is looking like. So Laney makes the open hit back, and
There we go. And
now-
Laney to her own credit, says Lainey doesn't throw hits. But I've seen Lainey make a bunch of hits this week, so clearly that catchphrase is out of date.
On the biggest stage, you can do anything, Brian.
Is this the biggest stage?
Yes.
Okay, good answer.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. It's definitely the biggest game being played in the world today.
Yeah, especially when it comes to Canadian curling. It's way, way, way up there.
Absolutely. Almost gets the sneaky double there. But the red one sticks around, so Phil Francis and second Stephen Courteau, aka Jill Officer, are going to try and partially split the house here. You know what I didn't notice until just now, Brian?
What's that?
We have Stewie and Brian in the booth. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Stewie.
Oh, boy. Jill Officer with the draw here. Again, the sweeper's staying right off of this one, but then now they're getting on it.
This one's more about separation, angles, than there's a lot of places where you can put this, as long as there's no easy double. And right now, that's a pretty good spot for it. He's going to try hit and roll in front of that back 8 red. That's not easy. That's got to go, you're looking at a good 6-foot roll. As you may be able to hear, it's getting a little rowdy in here. The crowd has been around all weekend, and this club is a hive of activity.
That it is. A busy spot here, the Royal Canadian Curling Club on a Sunday night. The Briar's on in the background,
The what?
which is the second, actually maybe the 7th most important game going on right now.
Yeah, these 6 are all really, really important. Especially that G division game.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a reason why they put the G Division game in prime time.
Yeah, it's eyeballs. Eyeballs and viewers. Clicks, I believe the kids say.
Exactly. The chasing clicks, get the ad revenue. Jill here, trying to make the open nose hit back. Looks a little bit wide.
It's nice, easy weight, though. It should come up.
Yep.
And it does.
Nice,
right?
manageable weight. Again,
Yeah, good. Probably a nice 10.5, 11-second control. No panic. You can correct it a little bit with the brushing.
you know, the folks at home could probably play a drinking game of the number of times we're going to mention that in this game. Nice, controllable weight and how important that it is.
Oh, I've got enough catchphrases. I can make some t-shirts.
Exchanging hits here. Looking across to some of the other sheets, it is a 1-1 game now between Regina and Toronto 2, and that is in the bronze medal game for the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. Over on sheet E, Team Champ took 2 points to even it up, and that is the A final of the Do It on the Ice spiel. No score updates on sheet F, on sheet B, or on sheet B is now a 5-0 game. That is in favor of 3DG.
All right, any guesses?
final.
What does 3DG stand for?
You know what? Put your guesses as to what 3DG stands for in the chat, and we will happily take suggestions because I have no freaking clue.
First of all, there's 4 of them.
Yep, there are.
So apparently one of them doesn't count.
Well,
My vote's on Jeff Wilson. He's sparing on this team.
oh, I know what this is. It's three. It's their names: David Jansen, Darren Sutherland, and
Gareth.
yeah,
3 Ds and a G?
3 Ds and a G.
Darren, David, and
Yes,
Gareth.
yes.
Oh, there you go. Well done,
wow,
detective.
man. We used our combined 2 brain cells there to figure that one out. Meanwhile, in the game that we're supposed to be watching,
This is a little tight. It will roll, but might stick around, and it does.
it's not going to be shot rock, but it is something that Toronto is going to have to deal with.
Oh, Bill Francis here, just happy to keep making these yellows go away. He's got his 2-point lead, and anything that's not points for Vancouver is a good result for him. He'd like to stick there, but even a blank's not terrible for the team from Toronto.
No, it's not. No, it is not. You have a 2-point lead. You're controlling it right now.
And Val Sweeting bonks this one right on the nose.
Right on the beak.
And Toronto still sitting too. The force is in play.
Vancouver Vice Stephen Bailey now. Tasked with trying to flop in front of the other red one. I think that's safe to say.
This one's hanging a little wide. Will flop out a little bit, but
Nice controlled weight, Brian. Nice controlled weight.
it does hang on for second shot. Billy Franchise, aka Michelle Englot, taking no chances. Gonna make that yellow go away. Try to keep the force in play.
And we saw last end. Don't take these open hits on the edge of the rings for granted. You gotta throw it well, as you do with every shot. What incredible analysis there. But you still have to throw it well. You can't take them for granted.
I do like his chances, though, with the in turn. If this was the out turn, I might give you a 50-50.
Oh, okay.
And I promise you Bill would laugh at that. Why? Because he throws his out turn like I throw my out turn. A little straight.
Nobody panicking here. Nice little sweep up.
And nice little flop in. Well done by Will Francis. Like I said, wasn't an out turn.
Noted. Usually when I have the pleasure of playing with Bill, it is he's playing with us. We're not playing against him. But if we ever play against him, I'll put that one in the notebook. And I'll say, Brian says you can't make an out turn.
That's not what I said. I said that if you're going to get a miss, it's probably more likely going to be on an out turn.
All right, okay. I'll erase what I wrote and put that instead.
So Toronto still sitting 2 here, and Vancouver's Mike Hiram looking for their little hit and roll, or the double would also work.
This looks to
Definitely
be
looking for the roll. This is over curling.
Yeah, this moved more than some of the other ones did. And is he gonna stick around? Just barely gonna hang on?
He maybe does not.
I don't think it did.
Looks like that rolled just a little too far, and based on where Billy's putting the broom, that yellow is not counting.
So if you're Bill here, this is Bill's last rock. Ideal spot for this, Brian. Where do you want to put it?
Well, he tapped his broom to the top of the 8-foot, right in front of that other red, which I think is kind of your best bet. You tease the opponent into maybe say, do I take on the double? Do I throw the draw? Can I make the double and roll out? You give him some options. So he's just looking for a second rock in play, ideally in front of the rock that's already counting.
Bill Francis with his last rock here in the third end of the final in the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. I've said this before, the sweeper's right off of it, out of his hand, and they're staying right off of it.
This looks like it'll get some house, but it won't be exactly where he wants it to be.
It's a 14-5, so this could be a break for Vancouver. Is it going to hold on? It is going to hold on, but
It does. I mean, good news,
Whoa.
bad news. It's not I mean, it's a makeable double, but you almost have to stick around.
if you're making the double, you have to go across the top of that yellow.
Yeah, and you might stuff it over there on the yellow. This is not an easy blank, and you see he takes that extra second to line it up where if you hit half a rock, that yellow's over there ready to catch it.
And again, this angle that we're looking at is a little bit fisheyed from this overhead camera, but yeah, this is a tricky little shot.
Do you take on the blank?
I'd be tempted to. I mean, if you take on the blank, these rocks are pretty locked together. It should be a straightforward double.
I don't think it's an issue of getting the reds to go. It's an issue of whether you can lose your yellow without stuffing it on the catcher over there.
But if you do stuff it on the catcher and you get your one, it's not the end of the world.
I think stuff it on the catcher should be a team in next year's event.
Should be. There we go. Put that down on the put that on the board. Last rock here in the third
Looking
end.
for the blank. Needs a half?
Needs to curl.
This has to curl a lot.
He's got a piece of it.
Does he have no, not enough though.
Just gets the one out. It's going to be a steal of one for Toronto 1 and Bill Francis. We'll be back after the break. Back here for the fourth end of the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. After a steal in the third end, the Bill Francis skipped Toronto 1 team is off to a 3-0 lead over the Vancouver team, skipped by Michael Hiram. This end looking like it's going to shape up to be a more traditional end that we've seen. Lainey Peters slips a little bit behind the tee line, and now the Vancouver team going to throw up the corner guard and try and score their multiple. But as we've seen the last couple of ends, it slipped into the house, and this is going to allow Bill Francis and his lead, Lainey Peters, now to hit that open Yellowstone and sit 2. We saw this play out in the middle game of the day that we did, somewhere around the 2 o'clock hour earlier today, where we were talking about how important it is to get those early rocks in position. And Lainey going to make the hits, roll, stick around in the 4-foot, and the Vancouver team going to counter with the corner guard now, Brian.
The delayed corner. This game is certainly leaning a certain direction right now, and Vancouver really just has to focus on getting 2 points. They're not in trouble yet.
Absolutely.
But they do need to start trying to make something happen.
We've talked about making the adjustment and making the adjustments to what you're seeing on the ice, and hopefully they'll be able to make those adjustments and generate a multiple point score here as this one slips in as well.
And Bill Francis just confirming with Mike Hiram that rock is in fact in the rings, and the free guard zone rule does not apply. So no delay. Stephen Corto. Jilly is just gonna fire a missile here with Jilly weight, which is like 10.5, 11.
I thought this looked a little bit tight out of the hand, but a nice 11 makes that hit and roll. Nice controlled weight.
Yeah. I do feel the ice has straightened up a little bit over the course of the weekend. Like you said, they did the rocks last week, and there was a lot of curl and a lot of bite on those softer weight hits, on those draws. They would really grab and really finish. They've played so many games this weekend that sharp edge has been worn down and worn down and worn down. There still is curl, but it's not nearly as drastic as it was on Wednesday, Thursday.
Absolutely.
I think the conditions here, from what I've seen, have been absolutely fantastic. I haven't heard anybody say a negative thing about the ice, which with 64 teams is really saying something.
Absolutely. I was talking to some of the players before they went out for the final and asked them, the ice over the weekend, has it stayed pretty consistent? We've seen a lot of weather changes here in Toronto the last couple of days, and yeah, they said it's been great, consistent ice, and tonight's game looks to be no different.
Yeah, for those of you tuning in from not Toronto, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're all in the negative, 2, 3, 5 areas. And the last 2 days have been like plus 10, plus 15. My car registered at plus 17 yesterday.
Yep.
So as the ice maker, trying to manage all of those differences in temperature and humidity, and to manage it to make a consistent playable surface, they're doing a great job.
Yeah, they've done a fantastic job, given the little time that they've had between games as well. And one of the guys that's making the ice is playing in the bronze medal game here as well. So there's been plenty of hard work put in by a lot of people this week to make this a possibility.
A nice control weight hit made there by Stephen Corto. Like it. Keeping your shooter around is so valuable. You don't even have to hit it right every time. If you can keep your rocks around and get rid of theirs, that'll win you a lot of games.
Absolutely. I hope nobody's taking us up on the drinking game idea at home, because
they're asleep already.
Yeah, exactly. Night. So Vancouver at some point is forced to deal with some of these rocks that are in the house. Maybe try and make some doubles, get out of this with a blank, and move into the second half of this game and try and turn things around from there.
Yeah, looking for a little double and maybe a roll to the wings. Just misses.
But leaves it in a good spot.
Yeah, that is a good spot for the yellow. You got that backing to contend with. Still not a very comfortable situation for Vancouver.
Team Francis Weiss, Jeff, aka Val, is tasked with removing that Yellowstone now.
Laney on it real quick.
The early indication,
and they're off.
Yeah, the early indication out of the hands from the sweepers seemed like a little bit heavy.
And I don't know what all the fuss was about.
They did a good job of communicating back to the skip, though.
That's just good coaching.
Easy now, easy.
honestly, I have coached these guys, and what I stress most of all is make sure everybody's on the same page and make sure that everybody's talking to each other. And if you can do that well, you're going to make a lot more shots.
Sounds like marriage advice, Brian.
I think my wife's probably watching, and she's probably rolling her eyes so hard she pulled something.
Good communication and make sure everyone's on the same page. The hit is made by Vancouver Vice Stephen Bailey. Doesn't quite roll over in front of the Red Rock, but whatever happens with this next hit from Jeff Junk is the Reds are going to be kind of clustered together. There's going to be a double opportunity on this next throw.
I'm going to be honest. I'd be coming at this the other way. I don't like the wide side on what is turning out to be kind of straighter ice. You're bringing that backing into play. I'd be hitting and rolling to the other side.
That's reasonable. See how it turns out here. They are getting the outside sweeper. Oh, no. Brian, are you going to be the one to say it, or shall I?
Nice control weight.
Nice controlled weight.
I'm never going to complain if you make it, but I just think playing your percentages one way versus the other is obviously a smart thing to do. And that shot to me was more makeable the other way. Not that it wasn't makeable the way he did it, obviously, but I feel like there was less risk involved. Now, all things being said, he rolled to a perfect spot, and yeah, Toronto is now cooking.
Well, as soon as you said what you said, we knew that they were going to make it perfect. That was a gift. Because that's the way the coaching works, right?
Because I'm gifted.
Yes. You have that gift, Brian.
Trying to hold it straight, looking for the double. Will it cross the face? It
does.
In.
The double is made by Stephen Bailey. And now yellow sitting one. Bill Francis will try and remove it. Looking across to some of the other sheets. On sheet F, which is the G final, it is 2-1 in favor of Team Nagel over Team Field. Team Champ, pardon me, they put it up initially wrong. Team Steel Magnolias was forced to 1 in the third end. They have a 3-2 lead over Team Champ. In our bronze medal game of the Canadian Pride Curling Championships, it is a 2-1 lead for the team from Regina, and they are playing the fourth end. It's a 5-1 game on sheet B for the 3DG team over the Ice Creamers, and on sheet A, it is a 1-1 game? I don't know. There's a light in my way, Brian, so I can't really see it.
Billy makes the hit and roll. A little softer weight and a little not as quite pokey through release. And Bill, like me, as I mentioned, has a tendency to get those out turns a little set, a little too straight. So on this ice, which we mentioned is getting straighter and straighter and straighter, you can't afford that big poke. So he kind of softed that one and almost paid the price. However, got away with it. And now Toronto's sitting 2.
Now, if you're Vancouver, that's a tricky double to try and make that on the outside. Is there ever a thought to try and freeze that back one?
I would. I feel that the double, even if you double and roll out, you're never scoring 2 here. You have to start making things happen. You're almost automatically forced already. So if you make a good freeze, you might have a better chance to score your 2 points because you're probably forced to 1 anyway.
Yep. Make a great freeze, even if they blast it out, then helps you out. And it looks like that's the direction they're going to go. I can confirm the sheet A between Team Faubert and Team Louis in the F final is a 1-1 game, and they're playing the third out. They started a little bit later than everybody else.
And I'm sure you're all tuned in for that specific result.
Well, everybody wants to know the F and the G final, Brian. Come on, Brian.
Two Freds building a house.
Oh boy. Okay, let's keep this train on the tracks. We're only in the fourth end here. Vancouver
Michael
skip.
Hiram looking for a good freeze, trying to force the issue a little bit. Needs to lock this on, and it is a little bit wide and maybe a little bit hot.
Hasn't thrown too many draws in this game, but this is really starting to curl now. So we're going to see it shed some speed. It's a 14-3 hog to hog.
Really needs to curl though. I don't think all that weight's not coming off. Not when you got guns like that sweeping it for the last 6 feet.
Just squeaks through. Do you think a license is needed for those guns?
They are not lethal weapons, I can guarantee you.
Val might say otherwise.
I don't think he would.
Bill Francis now going to look to split the house here and I think regardless force Vancouver to take their single point.
Now Bill's drawn to the opposite side, which I don't have a problem with, but I think I would be tempted to put it on the right side of the house because Hiram's never thrown the triple.
Yep.
So take away any backing he can use, make him draw a cold. This way you might give him some backing options.
Yep. And in a slightly different path as well.
Yep. He should have the same shot he just threw, or something similar anyway.
Sweeper's not overly panicked about this. It's a 15-8 on the stopwatch, so maybe they need a little bit of work to do.
Man, that
to
is
drag
fast ice.
That it is. It stops top 8.
No hesitation. The broom goes down for the draw. Needs better than full 8. A bite of the 4-foot for a point.
Bite the 4, get your 1, and move into the second half of this game. That's what Vancouver skip Michael Hiram is trying to do here.
I feel like you're just beating a dead horse now. Hiram.
Well, yes. If I don't keep saying it, then I'm gonna revert. I'm gonna get confused.
Michel Hiram.
I'm an easily confused fella. Last shot here in the fourth end.
Needs a piece of the 4-foot.
Not a lot of panic out of the sweepers. Kind of exactly what you want to see out of the hand.
Yeah. Sweeper's on it hard now. Need to get it into the 4-foot.
At a 15-5.
This one's grinding. Grinding. Will it get there?
And they drag it there. It's going to come up just short.
Up short. A steal of 1 there for Team Francis. Toronto 1 will lead 4-0 at the break. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this. And we're back, headed into the 5th end. Toronto 1, skipped by Bill Francis, up 4-0 after 4 ends. Laney Peters, a.k.a. Ian Casper, has thrown his first one into the back of the 8-foot. Mike Hiram calls for the corner guard from Henrique Gagnon. Love you, buddy. Corner guard called and made from Vancouver. Toronto now going to tighten up that center guard, try to close off that 4-foot area. Don't make it weird. No, you can say.
Okay.
Another one into the 4-foot for Toronto. They sit two now. Vancouver trying to take advantage of that corner guard. And already we have our first final.
My heavens.
3DG. I just assumed that meant 3 drunk guys or 3 drunk gays. I don't know, but they have thumped the ice cream team, the ice creamers. I know.
We figured it out. We put our 2 brain cells together, and we got to the bottom of that one. So
3DG, they are your C event champions.
That is your D event.
D event champions. The Ice Creamers are still in the running for best jackets, although I think the Toronto Raccoons are my personal favorite.
The Rakens?
Now, nice draw around that corner guard. Jill Officer gonna chase it. You gotta go Hort, in the words of Niklas Edin.
Oh, and this is gonna be close.
Oh.
Moved the guard enough, though.
Yeah. All things.
Oh, but the way that rock rolled.
Yeah, not ideal. Not ideal, but it's still okay. Like you said, guard out of the way, rock in the house exposed, and red not in a whole lot more trouble than they were.
Correct. So now the Vancouver team going to try and shift another one behind the corner guard over there. Vancouver second.
Okay.
Adam Tummelson, who I probably butchered that name, throwing his rock. And as I say that, we are joined by the one and only Rainey Stubbs now, part of the organizing committee for this fabulous event, the joint Canadian Pride Curling Championships.
Stuart, you're too nice to me, dude.
I'm too nice?
Too nice, man.
So, Rainey, this has been a long week for the organizers. 64 teams, is it, that we have out here this week?
We have 64 teams across Canada. It's a really special thing for us to be able to host it here in Toronto. Like at the start of the week, we realized like how important community is to us, and it's nice because sport's one of those really hard things that community gets hard to define, but we love curling and it brings us together really nice. So to have everyone from across Canada here, watch some really crazy shot making, it's really special to us too.
That it is. This is the 20th anniversary, if I'm not mistaken, of the Canadian Pride Curling Championships.
And let me tell you, yeah, it's 20. And let me tell you, I won't tell you what I was doing 20 years ago. But we're really fortunate to have something like this event. It's really special, and even as I'm sitting here in the club, like looking at all the new friends and connections that you make in the community is really special for us. So really welcome to have everyone here. Just looking at some of the comments, that gets distracted. I also get confused as a cocktail waitress sometimes.
No, you're the best cocktail waitress that we have for the commentators.
And do you know what? I'm probably the cutest.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
This is the third time that the Royals have hosted the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. And, we mentioned a second ago, this is the 20th year that this has been in existence. And it's growing, right? We're seeing more and more leagues with representation from across Canada now. If I'm not mistaken, there's 12 different leagues that are represented here this week.
I think it is 12, and the crazy part is there are leagues that aren't even represented here that we still associate with. I'm going to give a shout out to St. John's, Newfoundland, Kelowna, BC. Also going to give a big friggin' shout out to my home province, New Brunswick. Lived in Fredericton, New Brunswick for a couple years myself. Fredericton this year hosted their first gay bonspiel, their Pride bonspiel. It was really cool, and it's really nice to see community growing even when I'm away from home. It creates that longevity and that connection back home for me.
Absolutely. It's been an incredible week. I've been a member of the Royals now for 8-ish years. I believe this is the first time the Nationals has been here since I've been a member. But
same for me too, dude.
Just the sense of community that you get coming into the club and seeing everybody hanging out after the games, late into the night.
Yeah,
probably
totally.
not feeling so great the following morning, but it's been a fantastic week here.
Let me tell you, it's really nice even just to look around and side by side and just see so many diverse individuals here. It really helps that feeling of community, and it really brings pause to just think and reflect for a few moments of that.
Absolutely.
This
here.
is looking pretty good, Stu. How's the timing on the ice? My game a little earlier was a little bit slow to start.
It does seem like we're getting a little bit slower in this game compared to some of the earlier games, but maybe this is a good transition to all of the staff that are involved here, not just staff as well. I mean, of course, you have the ice crew, you have the bartenders, but there's an army of volunteers that have been behind this week as well.
Yeah, holy smokes, man. The countless hours of volunteers that are here, the people taking days off of work just to be here to officiate, timekeep, sell 50-50 and fundraise for our league is incredible. And being part of the executive, I'll give a big shout out now to everybody who has done that. I will give a shout out later to the same folks, but we actually do have an army of volunteers here, and it's really humbling when you look around and just know how much time and energy gets put into this event.
Absolutely. I mean, mentioned it earlier. We have one of the ice makers is out on the ice between playing, and doing ice, and it takes an army to put on something like this, and it's been a fantastic week. And I understand you've done a little bit of curling this week yourself as well.
I have. To accommodate the CPCC, we had a couple finals go on the draw before this one. Let me tell you, dude, it was a lot easier playing hungover this morning than sober rainy a little bit later. So shout out to Team J Janela for winning the C final. And also we had a B final wrap up earlier where Glenn Newell and team won theirs over Bradley Hayward and team. So shout out to my team, Team Hussein, Jay Janilla, Glenn Newell, and Bradley Hayward. You guys all did great energy team, great shots. It was a really good final, but watching the quality out there now, they're probably doing a little bit better than me earlier.
Now the Do It on the Ice spiel, this has been something that has been going on at Royals for quite some time now.
Yeah.
A massive event that gets put on every year and is really a highlight on the club's event calendar.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so nice to see even a lot of our Royals members coming in. Our leagues are the Riverdale Curling League and the Royal Canadian Curling Club is so integrated to the point where we have several of our own Royals folks that I look around and I just see dropping in to check out the curling, cheer for their compatriots, cheer for the people who probably beat them a few weeks ago. But curling creates lifelong friends and lifelong connections. And moving from New Brunswick a few years ago myself, I probably wouldn't have any friends unless I joined curling again. So really special. Stu, that's how you and I became friends, right?
That's true. That's true.
So there's nothing that beats a good game of curling, and obviously like a little drink after the game just makes it easier to make friends.
Absolutely. Bill Francis makes the nose hit. It looks like Vancouver sitting 2 though here. So we're getting pretty late in the end.
We are.
Now, looking across to some of the other sheets, we'll drop you some updates here in a moment. Lots of curling going on here today, though, and these games have to be a higher priority than that one game that's going on out in St. John's. You know, this is where all the curling action is.
100%. Like, I don't even know who's in the final. I'm joking. I have a very favorite in that game. So, you know, Matt Dunstone, I'm sure you're watching, but dude, it's your year. Bring it home for me, please.
Watching this right now out on the ice?
He's out there right now watching it.
I hope so.
He's more interested in what's going on at the CPCC than he is at the Brier. I'm almost certain of it.
I wouldn't blame him. The quality of curling that we've seen here has been incredible here. As Vancouver skip Michael Hiram is looking to split the house and sit 3 here.
A big 3 would make a big difference in this game for Team Vancouver as we're looking at this.
Absolutely.
Now, Stu, when we're looking at how do you split the house with 3, what are you looking at when you're calling that shot?
You're really looking for a position where you're not going to leave a great double back. And I think where he ended up leaving that, you know, just about a foot high of the tee line really makes you're going to leave a roll no matter where you put this, but where he ended up leaving that, it's going to give him a shot with his last to score his 3, and really this was an important end for that Vancouver team to try and get a multiple score back.
It is, yeah. It looks like Bill and Jeff are trying to line it up to do the nice hit and roll over, freeze on the back one there. Take away somewhat of the end, maybe get shot rock, or at least second shot here would be really important for Bill Francis as he comes down to throw.
Bill Francis, of course, a 2-time winner of this event, so is no stranger to the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. Has been kind of a fixture in this for the past number of years.
Now, Bill doesn't like it, but his locker's down by mine, and I keep calling him our national treasure, so.
Everyone I speak to seems to have a different nickname for Bill, so. A man of many names. And right now he's going to try and add a nice, a nice hit and roll nickname. I'm trying to think of something that rolls off the tongue smooth for that, but I don't think I can think of one off the top of my head.
I can't think of anything good. That would be cute anyway. Sweepers are on it. We're carving it over.
Trying to get some curl here. Looks like they have about half a rock.
Oh.
Making the big roll. This
There's
looks
the
really
big
good.
roll. Oh.
And rolls just a bit too far. It looks like yellow is sitting 2
Still
right
2.
now. So it looks like it's an open draw for the 3. Just a little bit off on the line call and where they wanted to hit there. But regardless, a good end from Vancouver to really get back into this game.
Yeah, it looks like Michael's going to have the exact same shot all over again. And you know what? Like, as muscle memory goes on, like, you always want to throw that exact same shot that you just made again. Now, I can tell you, not at these guys' level, but I can tell you those ones scare me when you make it perfect and you're expected to make it again. A little scary out there. But let's see how he does here.
Now, Rainey, as the end is winding down here, you gotta tell us, you're a bit of a celebrity here at Royals. What was the experience like on MasterChef?
Yeah, it's funny because I know who threw that comment out there. So I'm sure they're looking at me to talk about raw shrimp, but I'm not going to do that. It was an incredible experience, and I think the biggest thing I can say is, like, sometimes the most uncomfortable things you can do is going to be the things that promote the most growth. And I'm sure a lot of these curlers, for the first time stepping out there, were probably super awkward. What a beautiful draw by Michael there to bite the 4-foot. It looks like to take a 3.
They do take the 3.
That's a big 3 to get back into that.
Absolutely.
Momentum swings now in Vancouver's favor. How are they going to capitalize on the end? How are they going to set it up? What do they do? But beautiful draw by Michael there.
A big 3 scored by Vancouver's Michael Hiram. We're going to take a quick break, though. A big thank you to Rainey Stubbs for dropping by and having a word with us here on the broadcast, and we will be right back. We're back now for the 6th end of play, and I don't know, my co-commentator got a lot less fun again.
I'm right here.
Oh, shoot.
Right here.
He's back. Anyways, Bill Francis and lead Laney Peters trying to make the come around now and go top ring. That 3 scored by Vancouver, that could be something we look back in this game as the TSN turning point, if you
Well,
will.
you knew this wasn't going to be a lopsided run away with it game. This Vancouver team has been playing too well all weekend that you're not just going to roll over and quit. And with, 5-rock free guard zone, with the ability of the players on the ice, you can generate a point if you get a couple of breaks. And they did. Not every shot by Francis there was made perfectly, or in some cases even well. And that opens the door to put a couple on the board. So all of a sudden we got a game.
Absolutely.
Now, if you want to talk about MasterChef, I was at Rainey's wedding, and I got to meet all of the contestants. It was actually it was a great wedding, a lot of fun. But at that point, we didn't know the results yet. And so everybody, all the contestants had to keep their mouth shut about who won or who was still alive or whatnot. All we knew at that point was that Rainey hadn't cooked his shrimp very well.
If you want to know more about that, you can catch MasterChef. That entire season has got to be available to stream somewhere these days.
CTV, something like that, Crave, I don't know.
The year is 2026. The season is available to view in full somewhere.
So, Laney Peters makes a good one on her first. Vancouver misses the opportunity to match it, goes deep, and now Toronto sits 2, and Vancouver has a choice to make.
That they do, and this is a great time to take a look at some of the scores across the sheet. Over on sheet A, it is Team Louis in the F event final that is up by a score of 5-2. They are playing the 5th end. It's a final on sheet B where as you mentioned, 3DG, who we used our 2 brain cells on earlier, took the D event final there. On sheet E, we just got a score update. Perfect timing, man. And it is a 6-3 lead for Team Champ in that A event final. And then finally on sheet F, it is the G event final where it is a 3-2 lead for Team Field over Team Nagel. Meanwhile, in our bronze medal game, it is a 3-2 lead right now for Regina 1, skipped by Mike Armstrong. A fantastic shot made by Mike Armstrong in the last end, and we've got some great games here going on.
So Armstrong and Regina lead 4-3, playing the 6th end. Toronto gang will have hammer in that one. That's for the bronze. But back to our own. That Vancouver guard comes up. That Vancouver guard comes up well short, and an opportunity for Toronto to wrap another one. Sweepers like it. Well past the guard. Now we'll see Val finish this one a little bit. Try to tuck a piece in there. And that is well placed. No doubles there. No easy ones anyway.
No easy doubles at all. And if you're Toronto, you know, you're coming off an end that you just gave up 3. This is one you don't want to let things get away from you. You know, you're still in the captain's chair here, and coming back and having a strong 6th end is important, and that's what they've done with these first few rocks of the end here.
Yeah, with a lead, with the hammer, playing the 6th end, if you can put a point or 2 on the board, you are absolutely in control. And no need to take extra risk, bring on anything that will cause trouble. Just try to score a couple, and you're in really good shape. So things looking good for Toronto right now. Still a few shots to come, though.
Oh yes, we are. The end is still young. The end is still young. Some weight being thrown here.
That one had a little hot sauce on it.
A little bit of hot sauce. Or a little bit of mustard, as I would have said earlier. And the Toronto team is going to opt to just hit the open yellow one here.
They got to keep in mind there's one rock on the ice that's going to screw you right now.
Which one would that be, Brian?
The yellow center guard is the one you have to worry about. That's the one that's going to make you sweat later on.
Absolutely. If you're Toronto here, are you looking to nose this, or you're trying to roll a bit?
I don't mind the nose or even like a little bit of a roll, but I do not want to go all the way behind that guard.
A little bit back and forth between the sweepers.
I don't mind that at all.
They make the nose hit, and Vancouver's going to counter by trying to make the roll behind that center line guard. And if they make the roll behind that center line guard, they will be the shot stone. So one of the things that we've been monitoring over the course of the day is the bell rule. There is a bell rule that's in effect for these games, but that shouldn't be an issue here in the finals. They did get underway a little bit early, so our bell will not go until 7:55. I think we're going to get 8 ends in fairly easily, as the hit and they're making the far roll, which isn't bad. Gets a little bit of a spin back there to sit second shot.
I think red is still shot, but it's a 2-foot run back, and if you get anywhere near the nose of this, even if you don't stick that second one, you can still sit 2 in good shape and neutralize the threat.
Absolutely. Team Francis Weiss, Jeff Junk, aka Val, with the throw here.
Again, not a lot of weight. This is just...
Sweepers were on it right away, and now they're trying to get it to curl.
Now they're trying to hold it straight, which means it's made.
Yeah, back and forth is usually a good sign. Nice, controllable weight, Brian.
However, that needed to curl a little bit more. They rolled right behind that center guard, and that backing could cause problems.
This could be trouble with that red behind the T line.
Mike Hiram wondering, do I play the draw, freeze, or do I play a little hit and roll? I think at this point I say damn the torpedoes and I try to freeze.
I'm playing the freeze, Brian.
Like, either the only way, you can't give up 2 or 3. If you make the freeze well, you probably only give up 1, maybe 2. But they're playing the hit and roll anyway.
It looks like you might be able to make the roll and be second shot.
$50 tickets still on sale. I already got mine, so nobody else. Well, everybody else can buy, but don't put your name on the ticket.
My 11th. I am sorry.
We got chaos going on over here, folks. Sorry for the lack of the updates.
The world's loudest clap going on as 50-50 tickets are
It was
flying
a
off
run
the
back
shelves.
double on sheet D for the Toronto team. Somebody's partner was very excited. Meanwhile, 50-50 tickets for sale. Meanwhile, Toronto trying to sit 3 on our feature game.
Are you ever tempted to just rip that center guard in this situation?
Yes, but no.
Yes, but no. The perfect answer.
In this case, no. I think that there's too much opportunity to really twist the screws, that if you put one right about where this one's going, that means that guard's not really good for the other team.
That one really came off a lot at the end.
Yeah, a little bit short. Sorry, I spoke too soon. I needed that one to go to another foot.
I was fully on board with you on that, and then it looked like
I thought that was going to be a foot deeper, and it was going to be perfect. But all things considered, I don't hate the attempt there. Peeling the guard, if I'm maybe up another point, I don't mind peeling guard, but up 1, if you can get 3 here, that's great. If you get 2 here, that's great. But
Vancouver skip Michael Hiram, though, is going to be looking to try and steal this end, though. And
if he makes a good one here, he can do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Trying to stop the bounce back end here for the Toronto 1 team.
Sweeper saying it's a little heavy and it looks a little wide.
The initial indication, yeah, not one that you want to see out of the hand.
Sweeper's trying to carve it over. This one's not going to stop.
That's
but how much will it
14-1.
bounce? Little kiss spills all the way out the back. Still hangs on to trip on later.
That's a death stone right there.
Now, what do? You can come around the same way you just threw, or come away the other side. That is actually the easier freeze. If you could ever chip the red and split it half a rock either way, that's really good.
It would be. It's a tricky shot, though.
Hard to call,
Absolutely.
But that's what he's doing.
Bill, you listening into our commentary right now? Got the earpiece in. I think that was a plan B.
I think the ideal shot is right to the top of the button, top of the forefoot. I don't know, 3/4 open.
Yep.
And then
kind of splitting that center line almost.
Yeah, and if Hiram makes a really good shot, then you've got a little 2-foot run back. And if you ever tick the red, spill your shooter across the center line side, push the other red open to take away that draw path, that's almost a better result. But it's hard to call that.
What's the one thing you can't do, Brian?
Can't be light.
You also can't be back 4.
Yeah, back 4 would be trouble.
That would be trouble.
So he's only got a 10-foot window.
Only a 10-foot window. That's way... I wouldn't be able to hit that window.
Because if you're light, they lock on that freeze, half-tucked, you're hooped.
Hooped. That's a new one. You're pulling out a new one in the 6th end here of our...
I gotta save some of the good stuff.
That's good. Bill Francis with his first here in the 6th end.
This one is not wide.
Looked like he might have softened it a little bit on release.
This is not wide, and the sweepers are going to town.
Oh,
now, chipping the high guard is just as good. Punch that open and roll a little bit. That is almost... That's fine, too.
It's fine, but you can still get to the side of the button here.
Not impossible, but it is tough.
I don't know, Brian. I think you can down this path. It looks like
it's possible.
anything's possible. That's 06 Celtics, right?
Kevin Durant. No, Kevin Garnett, sorry.
Yes.
Garnett.
Yes.
So I think the draw, if you make it, is the shot, but it's not a gimme.
Absolutely. I think it's a must-make either. I think you have to play the draw here.
It's almost 100% you have to play the draw. The double run doesn't get you anything. You can yellow, red, and red will still have a draw for 2. Flat hit and roll, you can't make it. Like, there's really nothing there other than either the draw or the chisel tap on the outside yellow.
Yep.
But you need to score here.
Yes. You know what? You don't need to score, you need to force almost, though.
A force isn't that bad either, but the only way you're going to do that guaranteed is with a good draw.
So the skip, the vice, and I believe the lead of Enric Gagnon coming down and discussing the situation. You're fully on board with the draw here, right?
I don't see another option that could make any difference. If you're anywhere close with the draw, you can either force or steal. No other shot gives you an option to change those results.
Absolutely.
If you make the run or if you try to play like an in-off or a double or something, you're probably giving up 2.
Yeah, I think this is play the draw.
This
hesitation
just gives Team Francis confidence that he doesn't want to throw the draw.
Yeah.
And even if he makes the double, like, is he looking at the triple here? Try to go through the hole, hit a. No, I don't think you can get all 3.
I don't think you can get all 3, but you could probably make the hit and flop behind your own red, or that's not your own red corner guard, behind the red corner guard, out shooting that rock that Laney Peters put over there to the wing with the second stone at the end, or his second stone at the end. And
so they're lining up the straight back double here, but I don't.
Man, you have got to be close to that guard, though.
But I don't think you ever saved the shooter where Bill doesn't have a draw for 2.
I would imagine there's going to be some weight behind this one. You know what, Brian? We've been wrong up here in the booth before, though. So
made a career out of it, which is why I'm doing YouTube streaming, and you haven't heard me much other places.
That's why you're not out in actually, this is the better spot to be than St. John's. You actually got the better gig. Last rock here of the 6th end in the Canadian Pride Curling Championship Finals. Michael Hiram trying the, not last rock, sorry, this is his last rock in the 6th end.
Looking for a triple, double, triple.
A double.
Over the top, rolls.
Oh my heavens.
Rolls too far. Does it spin back? Not enough.
Did it spin back enough?
Not enough. I'm calling it right now, that's red. Jeff, stop looking at it.
Planting your flag.
Oh, he thinks it's yellow.
What's that, Brian?
I said what I said.
Cue the replay, folks.
Either way, it's a point on the board.
Now, where do you go here to try and get your second point? Because you're not ever trying to hit on that, right?
No, I think you play the draw. And also, you definitely get out the measuring stick because Jeff's wrong.
Jeff is wrong. Interesting.
That's red all day. I can see it from here.
You're opting for the double down here? It was like a pretty clear.
Nah, it's red all day.
Interesting.
Red all day.
You know what? We're never wrong up here in the commentary chairs, though. I wish we had a commentary booth.
I kind of like being in among the people.
That's true.
I don't mind the call. This is your draw for 2. I think they're more comfortable with this line coming this way. Yeah.
Sweepers like it.
He's not light.
I think the sweepers like this.
Yeah, I'm just saying he's not light.
It's about a 15.
No, right there. Just drop it. Let it go. 2 for sure. Now they're going to measure for 3 and find out red is 3.
Brian, you were
I'm tripling
bold.
down here, folks.
You were bold with that. They are
And they're
going
gonna
to measure.
put the brooms down so you can trip on them. Now,
We need the overhead view here. Measuring for a third point. Toronto for sure has 2 in the bag. Measuring for a third here in the 6th end of the Canadian Pride Curling Championship Finals.
I take it back. It's yellow all day.
Once again, folks, Brian Chick is wrong. It is 2 points for red, and we will be right back. We're back for the 7th end of the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. Toronto won with a 6-3 lead over Vancouver. Vancouver has the hammer here, playing 7 and looking to try and replicate what they did back in the 5th end where they scored their 3. I'm going to take you across the ice here and update you on the other scores that are going on. On sheet A, it is the team of Lawrence Louis that has a 6-2 lead over Faubert, and that is in the 6th end of play right now. That is the F event final, which I know everybody's on the edge of their seat at home for.
Edge of their effing seat.
The Sheet B game has been wrapped up for a little while now. It was 3DG taking the D flight final there. On Sheet E, the A event final of the Do It on the Ice spiel, it was Steel Magnolias that took one in the 6th end. They are down 6-4 to Team Champ now. Team Champ with the hammer there, playing 7th and looking pretty darn good in that 7th end. And then over on Sheet F, we do have the G event final, where it was a big 3-point end in the 5th end now, that Nagel now has a 5-3 lead over Field there. Meanwhile, in our bronze medal game, it is a barn burner over there between Team Regina and Mike Armstrong versus Devin Martin and Toronto 2. It is a tie game after Devin Martin and team took their 1 point in 6th, and is tied 4-4 in the 7th end there.
Well, frankly, I don't even know why they bothered measuring that last one. It was clearly yellow.
Clearly yellow, but I don't know. There were some people that were pretty vocal about it otherwise.
I know.
But we're not going to hold that against them, right?
Of course not.
Of course not.
Everybody makes mistakes, but
Everybody has those days.
grow some eyeballs. So this, I don't love the call.
Are they trying to freeze on this?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
That-
Based on that reaction, I think that was supposed to be a corner guard.
Yeah, that's just a poor miss in this situation. You need your corner guards, or else Toronto's just going to go hit, hit, hit. They're not going to leave anything yellow sitting around for the rest of this game.
They're going to smack that yellow right on out of there. And that's what second Stephen Courteau is going to be tasked with.
He's going to throw a nice control weight, though. Would you throw control?
I don't know. I might.
I don't think you would.
No? Why do you think I would throw? Hard?
I think you would throw it hard, just like I would throw it hard. I'd make it go.
Whoa. There was a hole there for that red to roll through? I
Hey, sneak it
didn't
through.
see that happening. Fun fact here, Stephen Courteau is our fifth on, well, not our fifth, but my fifth on Thursday night, so quite familiar with
He's
Stephen.
yours?
He's mine.
You can have him.
Well, he's actually Alex's, but
Now
you know.
this is a whole triangle situation that I'm no.
He's
no, if I'm
shared. He's shared. Anyways, Vancouver second now. Oh no, this is the nemesis name, Adam Tummelson. I don't know why that's such a struggle for you to say, Brian. Going to be throwing. Is this a come around? I believe.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to make use of their corner guard. They will deal with that pile in the forefoot at some point, maybe by playing a little tap freeze game, but for now, you only get one more shot with that corner there. You might as well make it worthwhile.
Absolutely. It's going to be pretty tight by that corner guard, Brian.
Oh, he's rubbing
Wow,
it.
that was just diving
But
at
it
it.
almost worked out for him where he rolled into the pile.
The choice now for Toronto, do you hit the one in the house or do you take out that guard?
I'll make that pile bigger if I can.
Make that pile bigger. You like a big pile, eh?
Again, I'd be coming at this one the other way, though. I'd be putting this inside out, trying to hit nose or less.
Nose or less, Brian, on the in. Stephen Courteau now throwing this one. This looks like a nice controlled weight.
You want to get just a little across the nose here. Let it curl an inch. This looks pretty good.
That it does.
What was that about a big pile?
I think your big pile dreams are coming true.
You made it weird. Again.
6-3 game now in the seventh end. And Vancouver has a lot of rocks to play with now. Talking about junking it up.
Now, there are a lot of rocks in play, and that generally leads into the hands of the people who want to score the big end, usually the team that's trailing. However, all four of those are red, and they are not easily removed. Considering yellow, Vancouver only has 5 rocks to come, so they got to move 4 with 5, which is fine, except Toronto also gets 4 more.
That they do.
And this
Big
is not
sweep
this
here
is
coming
not
from
heavy.
the front end of Vancouver.
Now,
They really have to drag this. Got to get it by that top red one, and it's going to come up short. Oh my goodness.
so now what do you do? I think Billy steps on the gas here. Just play pure offense from here.
And that looks to be the play.
Make them figure out how to get a multiple score when you're sitting 4 rocks in the top of the house.
In between the 4-foot lines as well. That is the control zone, right, Brian?
That's what we teach. All of those rocks in that 4-foot zone in front of the tee line, and they're going to throw another one. And that will make it really hard to score, Cotton.
That it will. We've seen some bold strategy.
So this technically may not be what the book says, and I think every coach might have his or her own opinion here, but I love this call.
I'm with you. I mean, if you try and open it up, I think you're helping out Vancouver if you do that. So,
And this is a great shot here
Absolutely.
from Val. Little tappy tap right to the top of the 12. No tap, just a draw.
you know what that was on the stopwatch? A 16-2.
16.2 seconds to the top of the 12. This ice has been fantastic. Can't stop raving about it.
Yeah, and if you're a sweeper and you're playing on this ice all week, you have to just love that. The ability to drag the rocks, knowing what it's going to do over the course of a game.
Not gonna lie, Laney does not look thrilled about sweeping 16-second rocks.
Well, I think Laney would be fine with it if Toronto is able to hold on for this win. Would you not agree?
I would, and I don't know if we've mentioned it in this broadcast, but this team has won the national championship twice already. So this would be their 3rd. Not in a row, but I think it's 3 out of 4. That wouldn't be bad.
Vancouver looking to play the short run here trying to spoil that party.
You got to start moving those reds, and
They're going to move some red here, though. Move a red. It's better than moving no red.
still red sitting 4. And now here's where there's another question mark here. Bill opting to try to hit that, and I honestly don't know if that's necessary.
I agree, because by hitting this yellow one out, you might become a little susceptible to the freeze on that.
I'd throw almost the same shot into that little pocket right on the center line, or just a straight guard.
Yep. It would be tempting.
Billy's playing the scoreboard, and I don't blame him for that, but sometimes you get that feeling where this is such a good situation, you don't want to screw it up.
Absolutely. You don't want to make something for the other team and help them out. Regardless, they make the shot that was called.
Yeah.
And now it's like we can see the future, Brian, because what do we see next on our crystal ball?
Well, they got to throw the freeze, but they've got to make it really good.
I agree. Freeze is the call.
And even if they make it really good, Red can just throw a freeze right on top, and then that's end over.
You're right. We have Vice Stephen Bailey is going to come down and talk about this one. Again, we have no concerns about the time clock right now. The bell would be rung at 7:55, which is 7 minutes from now, but that is not going to be an issue.
So
we're getting 8 ends in.
All games are getting their 8 ends in, as it should be in the final. I hate getting the game shortened by that, but
we might lead the riot if we didn't get 8 ends in. Thankfully, though, we can put our pitchforks away, and we can go back to chatting about this lovely game that we're watching. While these two discuss what's going on here, I believe that the other Toronto team, Toronto 1, in our bronze medal game, is throwing their last rock of the end, perhaps. Or at least they're on skip stones and could be in position for a steal here.
last rock.
If Skip Devin Martin, last rock for Skip Devin Martin, if they're able to position this one well.
One more to come from Regina after this, but Devin Martin trying to sink a draw into the top of the 4-foot around a couple of guards and make Regina play against 2. Meanwhile, the debate rages on our sheet.
And they've come to a conclusion. It looks like they're probably going to play some sort of a hit.
I don't think this is going to be very helpful. I think you have to play the draw tap here. There's just too many reds to move to make it worth it at this point.
Unless if you think you can move, if you think you can get all the reds sort of away from this center line cluster, which, do you think you could?
Smash it on the nose.
Maybe.
You might be able to get 3, maybe 4 moving, but your shooter's going to be out of... I just don't think... I think the shot to score here is the freeze tap. And he's not throwing enough weight to really make it count.
Well, you've been wrong before in the last 10 minutes, Brian, so let's see what turns out here. Going to get a little bit on the inside
half
of this.
A rock, hitting it low. I don't think that's going to help.
Just curled too much on them, maybe a little bit tight on the delivery.
Then now, Billy Franchise, as we call him, just needs to take away that, and there's really no shot to score.
Meanwhile, on our bronze medal sheet, it is a blank end in the 7th end as Mike Armstrong, the skip of the Regina team, made a double to blank that end. They are coming home in the last end with hammer, which, Brian, I think if you were to tell them that at the beginning of a game, they would take that every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Well, it is Sunday, but they only get one chance.
That they do.
That was a great shot, but the draw from Devin Martin was about 2 inches away from perfect. If he sneaks by the guard and wraps it around the red, there is no double, but he just rubbed it and left it right next to it. And yes, a great shot there from the team from Regina. spills everything, and they will have the advantage coming home.
Absolutely. We saw what Mike Armstrong was able to do earlier in our game. Absolutely electric with many of those draws, and they're gonna be enjoying the position that they're in coming home here.
What we saw in the earlier game was a lot of really nice draws, finesse shots, soft weight, and really being able to put it where he wanted to. That one was a banger.
Yep, a banger. Absolutely. Can do it all.
Now, this one could be, just a teaser. Billy comes up short, leaves a little bit of room on the button.
Leaves a look.
There's definitely a shot there.
Absolutely. And this is Mike's first shot, I believe, right? We can't see the rocks down here. Based on my counting, this would be Hiram's first in the 7th. Math is hard, kids. Stay in school. Some discussion on where to put the broom for this one.
Yeah, I'm just surprised he didn't play this on the last one. I don't think what he called had a whole lot of upside.
Yeah, you have to throw that one so hard to be able to open that up, I think, to what you were looking for.
You want to get a lot of things moving, a lot of things spinning, and it has to be an absolute howitzer. He didn't throw a lot of weight. I think if he gets the roll he wanted, he doesn't move the reds enough. And by hitting it the way he did, it really didn't help. So, although the guard that Bill Francis just threw was not much more helpful. So there is a little glimmer of hope here for Michael Hiram.
At this point, you got to be perfect. And what better rock to throw perfect than this one right here? Looking to perfect T-line weight. Sweepers maybe calling a little bit up, but this looks close.
Pretty nice, but it looks a little heavy. It's skating a little bit, hanging a little
does.
wide.
Just not
And what you
getting it.
don't want to do is chip this red out of the way and sit wide open. Unfortunately, that's the case.
Taps it to back button, and this is going to leave Bill Francis with a hit and flop into the button for that would make for a difficult last shot, Brian.
Even if you just hit and roll out, but yeah, you want to roll in. But if you rolled away, it would be a draw against 4 or 5 with a bit of backing. Very makeable, but it's not the situation you want to be in to save the game.
Absolutely. Bill Francis with his last rock here in the 7th end. Toronto with a 6-3 lead in the final of the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. Looking to make the hit and flop into the button here to really put the pressure on Vancouver.
Make it go away, and if he crosses the face, hits a little bit low, moves that backing off the button, then he's absolutely thrilled because that draw becomes that much harder. The hit is made, it's just the roll that matters at this point.
The off and on.
A little nudge, right in the pocket, side of the button.
Rolled it a little bit farther than he wanted to. This is going to leave Michael Hiram with the button to draw to for his 1 point. But Brian, is he looking at the triple?
I think you have to throw the draw here. The triple does not really help.
That red that top red that we see on the broadcast is just a shade buried behind the top 12 red.
If you roll an inch to the left, and you're still giving up 1.
Yep.
And you have to hit absolutely all of it to make the triple, or else everything jams.
I think they're settling on the right call here, the draw to the button.
Yeah, I think this is the only way to score here. Maybe not the only way, but definitely the easiest way to score, and it's still not easy.
Needs a big piece of the button here. Michael Hiram, Team Vancouver.
Perhaps the biggest shot that will be thrown in Canadian curling today, coming up.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Brian. Absolute snoozer going on in that other game that's broadcast right now. Michael Hiram, the sweepers with...
Needs basically full button, or better than half a button. Sweepers seem to like it.
I think line looks solid too. Everybody looks pleased. They know what this shot means.
They like it. They're just walking it in. Did it? Sneaks by the guard,
Great
right to the
shot. On
pin.
the pin. You can't ask for anything better than that, Brian. Michael Hiram gets his 1 point. It's a 6-4 game after 7. Coming home at the Canadian Pride Curling Championships.
And we're back.
Didn't even get the commercial break in. That's fine. Now, Brian, coming home down 2 in the 8th. If you're Team Vancouver right now, what are you looking to try and set up here in this end?
You are not probably ever going to throw a takeout. You're going to throw a guard and another guard and a guard and a guard. Maybe a little tap, maybe a little freeze, but you want every rock in play that is humanly possible. And all you're hoping for is a miss or two from Team Francis where you can make life difficult.
The tick shot.
Don't get to see a lot of tick shots anymore, but that's the call here. Trying to just cross the face.
Even bumping it into the rings.
Bumping it into the rings is okay too. You just want to move this rock out of the way.
And that's the importance with this no-tick rule that's in effect. Of course, for the no-tick rule to be in effect, that rock needs to be biting the center line. But just not having that center line guard on the center line is...
Gave up on it already. Just kind of softed it on the release. Curling too much. But the important part on this one is don't leave it kicking around the back of the house. Throw it hard enough to make sure it gets through.
Yep. So Team Vancouver now going to try and put up the high guard on this one. Trying to generate a steal of 2 here. Looking across to our bronze medal game right now, they're on Vice stones. The Vice's first stone just being thrown for Toronto. And Regina looking to just continuously peel out here. They have hammer tied in the last end there. And is Vancouver trying to come around this one now?
I would not be doing that yet.
But Brian, if you're gonna call it, you better make it, and that is just about as good as you can make that.
I don't. Maybe it's still just not ideal. You only get so many free guard zones based on the rule, and I would have waited at least one more shot to throw that.
That's fair. That's fair.
Great execution, but you have to steal 2.
Absolutely.
And right now, that only gets you 1.
It only gets them 1. This puts a little bit of pressure on Lainey Peters, though. Needs to make this freeze really nice. Because you know the Vancouver's going to be throwing up that extra center line guard probably on their next one.
Do we
Looks a little heavy.
Oh, it's walking
That's
over though.
really
It's
going
walking over. And lock it right on there. Not bad. Little bounce.
It's a second shot, but does the trick.
But yeah, we'll be seeing throw a guard, rip the guard, throw a guard, rip the guard for a little while here.
Meanwhile, we have a final on sheet A. That is the Yellow Rocks of Team Lawrence Louis taking the F final win there. Elsewhere, we don't have any other sheets that have put up their 7th. Well, we do have the 7th end on our bronze medal game, which we've talked about. Oh, and it was a blank end in the 7th on sheet E as well. That is for the main event final of the Do It on the Ice bond spiel. Of course, the recreational spiel that's being run alongside the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. There it is Team Champ with a 2-point lead in the last end with Hammer. Meanwhile, in our game, Vancouver makes the second center line guard, and
I feel like this is the show we'll see a couple of times.
Stephen Courteau being tasked with making.
Throw a guard, hit the guard. Throw a guard, hit the guard.
Now, how hard are you going after this double?
Not very.
Not very. The single is the priority here, right?
Yeah, all you want to do is make sure that they waste enough rocks that they can't score 2 or 3 easily. So if I can make one go away, you put it back, I'll keep taking one at a time as long as it takes.
Stephen Courteau makes the top rock go away, and we're going to see Vancouver try and replace it now. Meanwhile, we are on Vice's last rock now for Regina on sheet D. There are no guards in play, and there are a cluster of rocks in the top 4 foot over there. Toronto is needing to steal in a tie game. Regina has Hammer, and I think if you're Regina, you're probably going to be playing a takeout here, try and make some rocks move.
We can maybe try to show you the last couple. We just got to move a camera. You'll have the version on the right half of your screen. That won't change, but the left half, we can maybe try to show you that bronze medal game. But we'll give it a couple more shots before it gets really interesting.
Yeah, we'll give it a couple here. See how that develops. We'll keep you updated. Meanwhile, Stephen Courteau here trying to take out the guard that Adam Tolman. You know what? I was really confident about being able to say
10 for 10, still hasn't got it.
Can you?
Tolmason.
There you go. Brian's got me covered on that one.
Make sure you get one of the guards here.
This one
sailing a little bit, but
got the inside. Now that is not what the doctor ordered,
not
is it, Brian?
ideal, but still got to make it count. And
no panic, not panic mode yet for Team Toronto.
Yet. No, that either hit it harder or sneak it by, but that little feather tick is really not ideal in that situation.
Meanwhile, on sheet E, it is Team Champ winning the main event of the Do It on the Ice bond spiel for the 2nd year in a row, if I'm not mistaken. Or did they lose the final last year? I don't remember, but they won the main event this year. And that means that the final 2 games on the ice, Brian, are our Canadian Pride Curling Championship finals.
4 podium spots.
4 podium spots. Do you think they give out stuffed animals on the podium here like they do at the Olympics?
If they do, don't sit me next to Nate McKinnon.
Vancouver's second Adam throwing up this center line guard.
What's his last name?
Next question. Oh no, that was the Vice. I apologize. That's Stephen Bailey. Adam's already done throwing all of his stones. And Jeff Junk is now going to be tasked with removing a couple of them.
Yeah, still not going for the double here. Just get one at a time. That rock on the left, as we're looking for it, just off the center line on kind of on the 4-foot side, is not the problem.
Laney Peters.
Oh, we're gonna move both of them here, I think. Oh, or not, or not. That actually overcurled a ton. I thought he was closer than that.
Maybe got that one going a little bit on release.
No,
No.
couldn't have been.
No. Meanwhile, in our bronze medal matchup, Devin Martin's first stone was to just shake up the positioning of a couple of Saskatchewan stones, and Saskatchewan sitting 1 right now. We will try and turn it over to that here for these last couple of shots.
This one's gonna touch the guard on the way by, and that is a gift for Team Toronto. Especially if it rolls all the way through, which it does now. Make the threatening rock go away. And try to stick around.
Meanwhile, in our bronze medal game that
we're now seeing on the left hand of your screen,
you can see Team Regina 1 skip, pardon me, Mike Armstrong. They've been playing with 3 all week. Pretty impressive to go and play with 3 and have the impressive run that they've had all week. They are, looks like, maybe playing the tap here, Brian?
looks like it. Now with this one on our sheet, on the right side of your screen, really want to make that yellow disappear, but you'd love to keep your shooter, and I don't know with this weight if it's going to happen.
A lot of weight makes the rock go away.
They must, is that top one in, do you think?
I don't think so.
You're having a look.
Vancouver Vice Stephen Bailey took a look at it, and that was not a convincing reaction. that one's in. So I think they're trying to make the hit and roll here.
Yeah, they got to hide one.
Meanwhile, Regina skip, Mike Armstrong.
If he makes a little tap and can kind of stay in that top 4 area, he would be in good shape.
Lead Lindsay Peterson, sweeping it most of the way down. Makes a little tap and is not going to be second shot there. So yellow is shot 1.
The important thing there is the angles, though. If Devin Martin can make this little chip to the top of the button, yellow's not going to have a good angle in to get at it.
Yeah, you can't see that well from the angle that we have, but those yellow angles are not angled how you want to be. If I can mention angle anymore in a sentence,
how are the
I will
angles,
try. Well, they're not McAngled that well. Meanwhile, in our
looking
game
for
here,
a roll.
This looks perfect.
Pretty good.
A great hit and roll there from Vancouver skip Michael Hiram and Bill Francis now.
Basically, if you rip the guard, there's nowhere to hide a second rock. So Bill's going to throw the peel. Vancouver will have to find somewhere to put one where Bill can't hit it. So they're really confident that that rock is not biting the top at the 2 o'clock position.
Absolutely. And smart here. This is the way to play this peel. You never want to run that yellow rock into that one that's probably not biting.
Yeah, try to avoid all the jams. You got to be really unlucky here. Just,
well, lots of...
They like it, it's fine. Kill that one, over the top. Okay, now, where do you hide a second shot?
Well, That's a good question, Brian. Where are you hiding a second shot? Do you think it's close enough that that yellow one could be on with a measure? Is it close enough?
The way they're all acting, obviously we're not out there and we haven't had a good look, but the way they're all acting is they are 100% sure it's not.
Yep.
So you got to put it somewhere and you got to hope for a whiff.
And from everything that I've seen on Sheet C this season, I do believe that the rings are accurate. So
I thought you were going to say, from everything I've seen on Sheet C, there are whiffs out there.
there are absolutely whiffs out there too.
But if you're going to get a wide open hit and Bill Francis throwing it, I don't think you're going to get a ton of them.
Meanwhile, here on Sheet D, Devin Martin, Toronto 2 skip, trying to make the tap on his own, trying to make it curl. And this is going to be really close, Brian.
Has to chisel
Back
it
and
sideways.
forth.
He's got a piece. Right to the button. Frozen.
Brian, that's about as good as you want to make that shot. It's hard to make it much better.
Really good. And now, like we were saying before, the angles don't angle very good when the angles are lined up like those angles.
The angles don't make angle very good, but also Mike Armstrong has a tendency to draw the pin when he needs to.
He's made so many good ones today. He is now looking at maybe the flat double, but maybe he doesn't believe that the angle, there's no raise on either of those yellows.
Oh, man.
What a shot there from Devin Martin. That is clutch.
Regardless of what happens on Sheet D, this will be the last shot of the game. I don't think they're going to blank that one.
Yeah, that'd be something special.
That's safe to say. Meanwhile, on our feature sheet here, Vancouver skip Michael Hiram is throwing his final shot. Needs to be in the house to make Bill Francis throw his last.
Opting maybe for kind of the corner freeze where there might be a jam, but I don't think this is going to do it.
Maybe a little bit deeper than what he wanted to throw. And now
Billy has a make it go away. This will be an out-turn heater with a bullet.
As you mentioned, Bill Francis, this team as two-time winner of this Canadian Pride Curling Championship National, looking for their third at their home club as well. If he makes this, Brian, you got to think that the party is going to be going well into the night.
And that's just going to get me in trouble with my wife.
Bill Francis with the last shot here in the finals.
Just Laney Peters keeping it clean. Looks pretty good. He might get both. One'll do. Nudges it. Either way, that's enough. Team Francis. Ian Casper, Stephen Corcho, Jeff Junk, Bill Francis are your National Pride Curling Championships. And one more rock. One more rock still to come in the bronze medal game, and that will not do it.
It is Toronto 2 that picks up the bronze medal there.
Two fantastic finals, both down to the last rock there.
Some great curling all weekend, Brian.
Absolutely. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Thanks to the Royal Canadian Curling Club, the volunteers. Such a great job all weekend. All of the sponsors, all of the organizers. It's been a fantastic event. Congratulations to Team Francis from the Royals, to Team Hiram from Vancouver, and another Royals team, Team Martin, taking the bronze. Thanks for joining us, guys, and enjoy the rest of the Brier.